All right, slice of life. Our man went across the pond, Sean Little, at Chicago Flow. Not just a weekend, an El Clasico weekend.
Yeah.
And an Arsenal fan as well. Just set the table for us. You went to Barca Real, and then you went to a top-tier Premier League match.
Shout out my guy Jason Hayward. So that's my homie back from Chicago. When he was on the Cubs, we became friends. He's really cool. Middle of the season, he gets moved off the Dodgers. He gets let go, and he gets picked up by
Houston, right?
Houston.
Yeah.
So if the Dodgers win, he gets a ring. So I'm
unbelievable.
Indirectly hoping for that now that it's 3-0, it's done. But I was messaging him. We were kind of messing around. We talk pretty frequently, and I said, "Hey, if you get bounced out of the playoffs, because it was this weekend, so it was World Series. I was like, if you don't make it to the World Series, make it to the World Series. But if you don't, let's go to El Clasico."
You're like, hey, right before you play the Tigers, if you catch an L,
right? Exactly. Like,
here's how we can catch a
let's
W.
Go to El
That's
Clasico.
incredible.
Exactly. Like, let's go to El Clasico. Right?
That's awesome.
And he's just gotten into soccer.
Yeah.
He wasn't into soccer before. He's never been
So
to
you
a
got
match.
to teach him a little bit.
So, like, he's watching Maradona highlights. He's like, this is awesome. How have I not been watching this? Like, that type of stuff. So, he gets knocked out. The Astros lose.
Right.
I sent him a text. I'm like, yo, silver lining is we get to go to El Clasico. Not knowing if he was serious about doing it. He's like, he hits me back immediately. He's like, yeah, let's definitely go.
Incredible.
So, a couple days after he confirms El Clasico, he's like, yo, Arsenal-Liverpool's the next day in London. Should we hit that too? So I was like, yeah, like, let's do it. Like, if you make it work, I can make it work on my end. So he's like, he hits me like a week later. He's like, yo, I got tickets. Just get out there and we'll go.
Yeah.
Cool. So Friday, did Knicks Pacers.
Yeah.
Took the red eye out to Madrid, landed on Madrid Saturday morning at like 10:30. Went to the hotel, got lunch, did some walking around, messed around.
Did you get to
had
El Retiro Park, Madrid? It's like their central park.
No, I didn't make it over there. I got to put
Great
that.
stroll.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Great stroll.
So walked around, got an early dinner, went to the match. The match was unbelievable.
So like what,
Atmosphere
8,
was
9?
great.
What time did it kick
So
off?
very Spain, 9 p.m. kickoff. It's very late.
Get the nap in.
Yeah.
Get the late lunch.
Very, very late kickoff, but it's 4-0 Barca. 0-0 at halftime, 4-0 Barca. Mbappe had like 9 offsides.
Coolest
like
part, and were you on the Real Madrid side?
I was on...
Because they separate. I mean, they do in the Premier League. Is it the same thing for El Clasico?
Literally, the entire stadium was Madrid, and then Barca had a little sliver at the very top.
Okay,
in the corner. So
you're everyone's singing the same songs in your section.
Yes, no doubt about it. So that was awesome. They got the W. We then, after the match, went straight to the airport. Well, not straight. We got dinner, had a glass of wine, and then went to the airport. Hopped on. He booked a jet, little PJ from.
There it is.
Booked the PJ from Madrid to
All right,
London.
for Southwest Airlines goers like myself, what is a PJ like? Is it like Entourage?
It's exactly like you think it is.
I'm gonna ask all the Larry David questions. What kind of beverages?
Depending on
like
the company, but you pull up in the truck. You tell somebody the tail number at some private airfield. They open up the gate. And you pull up and get on. That's it.
One of those flights you're like, man, I could go. I don't mind. We go back to the States in this thing.
Yeah,
I'd sit on here for. So if you fly like first class once, you're like, I could do a 3-hour leg.
Right, no problem.
Did you want to stay up there? Did you enjoy it, or is it kind of? I mean, I've been on a small plane too, so
it's like a 2-hour. It's like a 2-hour and 20-minute flight from Madrid to London.
Oh, that's a little bit of time.
So we took off. She asked you what you want to drink. There's a menu for food. You order whatever you want.
What did you order?
I didn't have it. I wasn't hungry, but I had a little reposado on the rocks.
Right.
Kept it light. Had a drink and then went to sleep.
Now as an Arsenal fan,
yeah.
Before we get into flipping this, I got to get your take on that because that's one of the most coveted Premier League stadiums in the game
Arsenal,
with
Emirates,
a decorated history.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough. That was my third game at the Emirates. My first big-time match, though. My first one was Arsenal-Newcastle. Then I saw Arsenal-Crystal Palace. But this was Arsenal-Liverpool.
Oh, come on.
Last game of the weekend. It was dark. It was a little extra juice.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Saka scored the first goal on our end.
It was sweet. Touch.
Yeah, it was sweet. It was fun, man. I put it on the bucket list. Get to a Premier League or La Liga match in your lifetime soon.
And then to put a button on it
Yeah.
as you're wrapping up the weekend.
Yeah, so then
So then a little
so
play
look,
happens over in Maryland.
My weekend is perfect.
Yeah.
Liverpool scores late. Salah
That was ridiculous.
tied it up 2-2, so draw happens there. So
Right.
that game ends. The Arsenal game was at 4:30, ends at like 6:45. The Bears start at 8:30. I'm like, perfect.
Well, let's go. 8:30 London time.
London time. I find a pub that's playing American football.
Incredible.
Perfect.
Bears bar or just any bar?
Just any bar that
All
was
right.
playing it. They had it on, so I go. I'm posted up and I'm watching. I'm making friends, talking to people. They ask me where I'm from.
Were you wearing any Bears stuff? Or?
No, I'm not wearing any Bears. I'm still wearing Arsenal stuff, actually.
Smart.
So I hadn't been on social media because I was on like a little trip, so I wasn't really like tweeting
Right.
or anything. They play like, I don't want to say the S word, but they played horrible the first 3 quarters. Bears. And the fourth quarter is just electric. Caleb's dealing, sidearm throws.
Incredible.
Has 3 consecutive like drives that get to the red zone. A couple of them are scores. There's a turnover.
Yeah.
And the game is over. I'm doing the high five thing. People are congratulating me on the win, of course. And the Hail Mary goes up. You see the tip.
You're getting congratulations. Are you in that moment? Don't dap me up. Are you telling?
No, I think the game's over. In my eyes.
If you're a baseball superstitious person, you're like, dude.
Yeah, no. Well, I'm.
You're a couple pints in.
Yes, and I'm like, I thought it was. I was happy with how Caleb responded. in the
Right.
fourth. So
Sitting for the
I'm
last play?
standing. Last
All
play,
right,
I'm
all right.
watching, and first of all, I see the hold, and I'm like, that's a hold, but whatever.
Like when he rolls out.
Yeah.
He doesn't even roll out if there's no hold,
Clearly
right?
clearly holds him, whatever. But anyway, ball gets tipped and it's caught, and people like everyone in the bar kind of like looked at me or like my section because like we were they just congratulated. So the bar I'm in, there's no sound.
What?
Yeah, there's no sound. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, there has to be like, you know, you're waiting for like the little yellow flag thing to jump up. I'm like, flag's gotta be coming.
Gotta
for
be.
this. Like,
So you see the tip, the catch.
I see the tip and the catch.
No Brown.
And I'm looking for the flag thing to bop up, and then like the field becomes more and more flooded with like Washington Commanders staff and players, and I'm like, oh, this game's over. So I did my only tweet for the trip, said I was flabbergasted, and my hotel was like 15 minutes away. I walked, very somber 15-minute walk.
Party of one.
Party of one. Wow. Didn't turn on the TV. Walked in.
So that was a phone-free walk.
Phone-free walk. I packed up my stuff, and I went to sleep. And that was it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was brutal.
That's an unbelievable trip with just, I mean, that's like no one else from where you're from, if you ask people where they were, will be like, I was in a pub in England off a Salah last-second equalizer.
Exactly.
But where
I won't rant about how bad of a coaching.
Just since we have a second Bears fan in here, our guy Pete, just curious because I've been to a lot of Charger L's. Is this a top-ranked Bears? Like, you've been through a lot. Just curious. Sports moment, Bears moment.
It's not really for me because it's regular season. I've been to games where like Aaron Rodgers has gone down the field 85 yards and needs to score to knock us out of the playoffs and does it and does the strap celebration in the like. So it's nothing. It's not. That's not as painful as those.
That's a dumb luck.
Or like I've seen a guy hit the goalpost twice on a kick to win a playoff game. So like none of those are even close. It was a miracle. It'll go down as like some fluky things that could have been prevented if we were coached correctly, but not a top 5 devastating Bears loss for me. It's not even close.
Tyreek Stevenson can come back next week. Cody Parkey never was going to play another Bears game ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's fair. So I guess to put a button on it, if the Bears won, would you have gone out?
No, I had to get back to work for MSG Network, so
It's a man right there.
Responsible.
Day in the life of Sean Little. Let's go.